So yesterday then, the quotes and rumours around the White House were that a deal to end the war with Iran could materialise today. But now, yesterday's today is gone, and again the quotes and rumours around the White House remain that a deal could emerge this new today. The US Secretary of State Marco Rubio, the latest to comment, saying that the deal as it stands seems pretty solid, notably in terms of opening up the Strait of Hormuz, as he added that every country they've talked it through in the Gulf understands that plan as reasonable.
We're still a work in progress. As I said, we thought we might have some news last night. Maybe today. I wouldn't read too much into it. It takes a little while to hear back. So we have what I think is a pretty solid thing on the table in terms of their ability to open up the straits, get the straits open, enter into a very real, significant, time-limited negotiation on the nuclear matters. And hopefully we can pull it off. It has a lot of support in the Gulf.
Doug Herbert, our international affairs commentator, joins me here on set. Doug, a lot more uncertainty than certainty still, isn't there? I mean, what are the unknowns, would you say?
Well, the unknowns are whether or not this memorandum of understanding is ever going to come to fruition, whether the two sides can ever really connect on their reading of what it really means. If you're looking at the Iranian press and the media agencies that are affiliated with the IRGC, the Revolutionary Guard Corps, they are all pointing heavily in the direction that any memorandum of understanding, any framework for an eventual agreement to end this war is going to be conditional on the U.S. making concessions and Iranians notably maintaining leverage over key areas. The big areas in this memorandum of understanding from Iran's perspective that it expects and it is demanding be addressed before there's movement on any other issue, notably the nuclear issue, are things like its frozen assets, sanctions relief, the U.S. naval blockade, ongoing naval blockade of all of the Iranian ports, the issue of the fighting in Lebanon, Israel's attacks against Lebanon, Hezbollah's retaliations. What is the status of that other theater of war connected very much to the U.S.-Iran theater of war? And finally, perhaps one of the mothers of all contentious issues, the Strait of Hormuz. What actually is going to happen there? How much leverage will Iran maintain? In the Iranian state-controlled media, Iran clearly is signaling and telling its people and feels, perhaps truly believes, that it is the one that is negotiating from a position of strength, that it is the one holding the cards, so to speak, to use an appropriate Trump phrase, and that it is the one that even if the Strait of Hormuz, under some initial memorandum of understanding, were to reopen and allow the free flow of traffic, ultimately Iran is going to be able to call the shots to the effect that it will be the one administering and governing the passage of ships and vessels through that strait. It already has a government agency essentially in the works set up to regulate that any ship in the future, presumably passing through that strait, would need to coordinate, would need the authority and then the sign-off from Iran's government. That's clearly at odds with the vision that the U.S. has. So you have a tale of two starkly contrasting takes and interpretations of what this framework would look like, what needs to be in it in order to provide for talks eventually on the nuclear issue, which could be, opened within 30 to 60 days. So there's so many unknowns in this agreement. And the fact that it's even talked about as a deal at this point is perhaps more because Trump administration has been front-loading this with this glass-is-half-full rhetoric, bluster and glass-is-half-full rhetoric. But from the Iranian perspective, this is not a done deal. It may not even happen.
We saw while you were talking there some images of Donald Trump behind you there. I mean, lots of shifting rhetoric surrounding the White House, notably from Donald Trump himself.
Yeah, I mean, the war is either about to end, it's just about over, or it's going to last a very long time. Either Iran's its nuclear weapons stocks, its military have been all but obliterated, or they haven't. Either a deal is practically done and dusted, in Donald Trump's words, largely negotiated, as he said early in the weekend on Saturday, or to his negotiating team, not so fast. Do not rush into anything. It's not even blowing hot and cold. There's a sense here, although Donald Trump will vehemently deny it, and everyone around him is under marching orders to vehemently deny that there's any kinks in this strategy, they clearly seem to be winging it. improvising, to use another term. And they seem to, day by day, say whatever needs to be said in order not to make it look like they're losing face. By keeping every option open all the time, and not being able to zero in or narrow in on one makes it look like essentially what I was just saying, that Iran is calling the shots to a large extent. Does that mean the U.S. might not resume once again its strikes, as Donald Trump has been, repeatedly threatening in the past few days? He said that U.S. forces are at the ready to go again, even as he said that he's looking for a deal. They don't have a clear strategy, and in the absence of a clear strategy, they change their rhetoric every day. I think they've been saying a different thing every day if you go back over the past 8 to 10 days. And even his own administration, even Marco Rubio, their Secretary of State, you could tell they're a little bit on the back foot, having to basically play either catch-up or damage control when it comes to their boss, the president, because not even they really know what's going through his mind. And you can almost argue Donald Trump doesn't know what's going through his mind until it's happening.